Sonia Storytime. I'm replying to a young lady. She said, Sonia, I really enjoyed your haunted podcast. I found it funny. You said you have many more stories to tell. Can you tell us another one? Yeah, Sandra, I actually can tell you another one. Another haunted situation. So, Sandra, another one would be when I was a little kid, right? It was fun. It's kind of scary because when I was a child, my aunt used to want to scare us, right? So she would take like clothes and set them up like they were actually a person. So when we were kids, one time we had went into the living room and she had all these clothes sitting around like they were actual human beings. Like they were actually human beings. And it was dark in the living room. So at this time, me and my sister Cassie, we would go and we was looking and, we backed up out the living room and then we came back in there and there were actually clothes stuffed as humans. So we got scared because we it's dark in there. Like, who is it? People actually in the living room, but there was actually nobody in the living room. It was just clothes stacked up to scare us. And I remember for a long time, my sister actually was scared for a long time, every time but then we got used to it. We got used to it because she would do it, I guess it was around the holidays, or I can't exactly remember when exactly she would do this, but she would actually do this, but it was to scare the children. And because we were so young, yes, we were scared. And it's funny now, a lot of stuff is really funny now, but back then it was not funny. So that's one of them. I can also tell you another one where this one was funny. This is with my ex-husband, right? We had a computer and okay, let me describe our room, our bedroom. Our bedroom was really huge, right? So in the corner of it, it's we made it into a little office before we moved the computer out. So I would tell him that the computer will automatically cut on. So he would blame the kids. He would be like, no, it's the picnics that cutting on the computer, stuff like that. It's not cutting on, right? So I'm like, yeah, it is actually cutting on. But he didn't believe me. So one night, he unplugged everything. The extension cords that you could put all the plugs in. So he unplugs everything. So one night the computer actually cuts itself on. So I'm just sitting there because I want to know if he synced it. So he jumps over me. He jumps over me and he's cursing, but he's cursing in his native language, right? So I'm just sitting there because I already had told him this was happening and he didn't believe me. So now he see it for himself. So he no. The picnics come turn the computer on. The picnics. And then I'm like, well, how can they? You unplugged it. And he had to realize that he really did unplug it. He finally realized that. And it's no. And I'm like, I told you. But see, now these things are funny to me. They were scary back then, but they are funny. But oh, thank you, Sandra. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I have a bunch of funny and scary at the same time. haunted stories. But I like to thank y'all. Thank you again, Sandra. I'm glad you appreciate my haunted story. For listening to the same podcast, please give it a 5-star review on Speaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts at. Please share. Please follow me at son.ia9795 Instagram, Storytime, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Follow my son Sounds on Instagram. Listen to his albums on Apple, Spotify. You can comment here at sv766752@gmail.com. Please go to my website, http://podcasters.com, www.avilo. Use promo code Sony www. Instacart 156. Back to buy me coffee. Please follow the young lady, Miss Carr. She do affirmations every day. She have her own podcast. Please follow the other young lady, TJUVULCIAN. Use promo code. She have a book called Black Girl in Orange. Please follow Clean Flex here on SoundCloud. Please follow Female Reform, and have a blessed night.